welcome to yet another wrestling cast. I don't know if that's going to be the title, but that's what we are, basically. I am one of your hosts, Jay, and this is my friend, Silent Bob.
Almost. We've been making that joke for, 10 years now?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I am the other co-host of this podcast thing that we don't really have a proper name for.
Yeah, it's just going to be an untitled cast.
Where, whenever we have the time, we just talk about wrestling.
Yeah. Wrestling talk. And we had some excitement with Battleground, with Raw, I guess with Smackdown. Poor Smackdown.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, no, 2 out of 3, and it wasn't like Smackdown was bad, it's just...
They got a long way to go.
Yeah. Got to.
But do we want to start with Battleground first?
Let's start with some Battleground. And... Holy moly. Soccer mom chants. What is it that AJ said? Let me pull up that GIF again. It was like, if that's what a soccer mom looks like, I want
or something like that.
Yeah, I want to marry him.
Like, honey.
At least he's not making bad gay jokes. He's making gay jokes at himself.
Yeah, I was like, does that count as a gay joke? I'm not entirely certain. I mean, I guess, jury here is queer man to queer woman here. What is our consensus on that?
He tried.
Yeah.
He gets a you tried on that anyway.
Yeah.
What is it that I said he was actually talking about Luke Gallows?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Luke seems like more of his type than Carl, because Carl was always Finn's type.
Yeah, Carl's more Finn's type. Luke and stuff seems to be more AJ's type.
I still have to watch that episode of Ride Along that went up last night.
Oh yeah, there was yet another joke in there where AJ goes like, "I bet I'd be sexy like that, sleeping like that," and Gallus went, "Hell yeah."
You can't tell, but I'm face palming right now. But can I talk about the most exciting part of Battleground for me?
Which part?
Let's talk about the opening.
Yes, that I missed.
Oh my god, no, I screamed. I actually screamed. Because if you guys don't know or don't mind spoilers for Battleground, I mean, we assume that if you're listening right now, you probably know what happened. So, Bailey was Sasha's partner. And I was just like, now they did say that this was a one-time thing, quote, but I'm seeing this kind of like what they did with Sammy at the Royal Rumble, where you make a big splash entrance, disappear for a couple of months while all the other shit happens, and then damn it, I cursed. But that where all the other stuff happens, and then you make your big splash a couple of months later.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much what happened with Sammy, was that he entered the Rumble, was not there the next night, or the next week, or the week after. But then, in March, in Chicago, Kevin and Neville have a match, and then I think Kevin lost, if I remember correctly. So Kevin loses, and he's about to do the powerbomb on the apron and Neville, when out of nowhere, here comes Sami Zayn, and that was Sammy's official main roster debut. And so I'm imagining they'll probably do something like that for Bailey. But just the fact that, she showed up at Battleground and probably got... I would say the only person who got a bigger pop than her was Enzo.
Yeah, no.
Enzo might just be the most over man on the planet right now.
Yeah, she got... That pop was huge.
Yeah, no, and people want to be like, oh, Bailey will never succeed on the main roster, and I'm like, I hear that, I'm like, you're full of shit.
You're full of shit. Oh no, because Captain America's gonna get mad at us.
I don't care.
I don't care either.
So anyway.
So no, that I think is kind of the biggest thing on Battleground. For me, I was in the hater's face. Dean isn't a placeholder, y'all.
Yeah!
What? Dean won. Dean won.
And he won clean, too.
Yeah.
Like, that's the important part there.
He won clean. There was, I think, the sinking of the Ambrain ship, though, when he and Seth teamed up to powerbomb Roman through a table.
Shit happens.
Yeah, shit happens. Just to the Ambrains fandom, don't worry. They'll get back together. Seth and Dean got back together for a split second before Seth was like, I have a chair now.
Yeah, no, it's like I saw him digging for the chair. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Oh, fuck you. Will this breaking up of the shield never not hurt?
We like to do impressions of Seth Rollins on this show.
Because he sounds like Waluigi.
Waluigi.
We're not the first to make this observation, but...
No, it was on Tumblr. Sexy things, Waluigi noises.
Picture of Seth.
Picture of Seth. Trying to remember what else happened. The club was not very color coordinated.
No, well, I think it's because most everybody was trying to do, like, the brand coordination.
Yeah.
So...
AJ, that's 3 different blues, though, honey.
Yeah. Oh, honey.
Oh, sweetie. But because of the brand, we had Carl and Gallows, Luke Gallows. I keep on wanting to say Doc. I have to
call him. Yeah, Luke. Just call him Gallows. Like, he kept the name. And
yeah. I keep on wanting to go Doc. You know, that shows you how deep in Bullet Club hell I've gotten into lately. I'm like, oh yeah, Luke Gallows. Because he's no longer... Close enough. But they were wearing basically Finn colors. So,
yeah.
So I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, I think that they'll probably delay that for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Just to make sure that, like, you know, we get properly indoctrinated to Finn on the main roster solo first, and then you bring that shit in.
Finn.
We will get to Finn in just a minute.
Oh, we will get to Finn in a minute. Because that was, to me, the biggest thing on Battleground was Bailey, and Dean winning, everything else. That and Enzo just being amazing on the mic.
Yeah. Always lie on your resume. And don't make eye contact while you're eating a banana. Like, that made no freaking sense, but I love you, Enzo. And Xavier faced his fears and punched.
Yes.
Oh, we are forgetting the true match of the night, though.
What?
Sammy versus Kevin.
Fighting around the world.
Yeah, watching that match, it did give me the feeling that they're actually probably going to put that rivalry on the shelf for a while.
Yeah, no, they fought each other to hell and gone, and didn't disturb each other later on Raw, so...
Like, wow, you might actually be trying to change yourself for a minute. Maybe.
Maybe. Sammy had some tenderness going and then went kick to the face.
Yeah, no, which I think that was an important moment for him because I think if you're really kind of considering it from a perspective there, I think here's how I viewed that moment of when he first hit Kevin with the haluva kick, and like he has the moment there where he's holding him up, and you can kind of see the wheels turning in his head that he could just like have compassion for his former best friend right in that moment and just kind of not pin him or just let the match end or whatever. But I think in that moment he realizes that if he doesn't If he doesn't deliver the second one, he's going to be stuck forever. So he makes that active decision to prop Kevin up, go running back in the corner, and hit him with a second haluva kick. Because... wow, man. Just that whole match. I love Sami Zayn. I love Kevin Owens. And, like... I think that was definitely an example of how you can tell a story in the ring.
Yeah. Even though it's a story that's been told over and over and over again.
Oh, yeah, no. I've heard people compare that moment of, like, the cradling, the arm cradle, to I'm Sorry, I Love You. Which, if you don't know about that, that's...
Ah!
Well, that's from Ric Flair's retirement match against Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you don't know about that, before Shawn delivered the final kick to Rick in that match, you can hear him mouth, I'm sorry, I love you, and then he delivers a killer super kick that pins Ric Flair and ends his in-ring career. You know, he's Ric Flair, he just kind of shows up every so often.
He's like, I'm Ric Flair, woo!
Yeah, that's Ric Flair in a nutshell. And also, Mojo showed up randomly.
Yes, that was beautiful.
Like, oh, the hype bros live.
The hype bros live. He lives for his bro.
Just guys being dudes.
And marry a man.
Yeah, if you guys don't, you probably don't know this if you're listening. I have a bit of a running joke where I say that my song for the Hype Bros is Spring Break Anthem by The Lonely Island. And, if you don't know the Spring Break Anthem by The Lonely Island, it plays out like a traditional, like, spring break party song, but occasionally interspersed it has, like, The Lonely Island singing about, like, planning a wedding to a man. So it's like, yeah, that's pretty Mojo and Zach right there. They're like, Mojo's real ride or die for Zach. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, there was a whole segment on the Breaking Ground episode about WrestleMania weekend where Mojo waxes poetic about Zach winning the Intercontinental title. It's like, wow, okay. You really, really love Zach.
Marry a man.
Yep.
Oh, that was beautiful. So, Battleground was better than what I expected. I kind of went into it with low expectations. And I can say the same thing with Raw. I kind of went in with little low expectations and got a beautiful... That was one of the best episodes of Raw I've seen in ages.
Yeah, no, like, I've been kind of... Like, Raw's been kind of middling there for... I mean, it was really good for the month after WrestleMania when Shane was, quote, running the show.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was kind of middling there for a while, like, to the point I do, like, either episodes I have not caught up on, and I really don't care to. But then I was, like, really surprised, like, by Raw last night, was that they really seem to be, like, adhering to, one, pushing new talent and who the people want to see, and kind of going by the rule of anything can happen in pro wrestling.
Like Finn Balor. Let us go to the squee portion of this.
Mostly me squeeing, because Finn's my dude.
Finn. We love our Bullet Club dudes.
Yeah.
Don't mind former Bullet Club.
Finn's Bullet Club for life.
Except for AJ Styles.
Styles.
But let's talk about for life Finn here.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, like, when they bring all the Raw roster out, like, Nia, you could see Nia towards the front, I was just like, where the hell is Finn? Like, are they deeming him up for the night? Like, what's going on? And then, like, they said, like, they're going through the announcement of, like, the Fatal 4-Ways. And I was just like, there's no way. And then, like, the last person they announce is Finn, and he comes out in his leather jacket, and I was just like, And then, of course, like, okay, so they have this new setup for Raw, which looks really good. Like, the announcer desk is away from the ring. And then, like, they have, like, this new, like, kind of Titantron setup and overhead cameras. So, like, Finn's entrance on that scale looks real good.
Oh, it was.
And so... I was like, okay, I wasn't surprised that he won that first match. Like, I kind of like, well, he's the new guy. It would be really weird if, like, on his first night, he loses his first match. That's kind of a setup for, not really a setup for failure, but still kind of just like, oh, that's disappointing. But later that night, he goes against Roman. Again, I was like, I kind of fell into the trap here. Like, I am a Roman Reigns fan. Let's not get this twisted. But I was like putting those two against each other. I'm like, oh, you know, Seth's already got the buy-in to the match, so I guess it's going to be Roman because he's got all the history with Seth, and you know, you're coming off of this like huge loss last night. Like, the opening of the show is just Stephanie calling Roman a loser.
Oh yeah,
like,
she was just hard on him.
Yeah, it's like, wow, Steph, you don't have to drag him that hard. Like if Seth was the one who had gotten pinned, like, we would not be experiencing this level of drag.
You just been like, my son, I am disappointed in you, instead of, boy, Roman, you're a loser, which, real quick on that, I think that shows that, no, they are listening to what fans are reacting to Roman. Roman gives a reaction. It's a reaction I don't like, but it gives a reaction. And to have Stephanie kind of drag, it almost puts fans in the position that they feel like that they have power over the WWE, despite the fact that they will all go buy his merch.
Yeah. No, people were chanting for Roman during the match but the first match.
The first match. That was a big thing.
Yeah, I clearly heard Roman chants, and I'm just like, but nobody likes him, right?
Yeah, nobody likes Roman. Let's get back to... We'll talk about the nobody likes Roman crap later. I just was wondering, because you pointed that out. Let's go back to Finn!
Yeah, no, I kind of hoped, and this is only because I've been wanting to see this match for more than 6 months, because this was the original rumored match for TakeOver Dallas for the NXT title was Finn versus Sammy. Like, there was like, there were websites, they were saying, oh no, that's gonna happen. And then Shinsuke Nakamura got signed, and it was just like, I kind of, like, part of me kind of wishes it had actually been, like, Finn versus Sammy, because, like, 9 months of Finn versus Samoa Joe got real boring real quick. But that Nakamura match was also really lit, so... But I've been really wanting to see Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. And I was kind of like... so Sammy's in this match, and he's really bringing it against Roman. Like,
oh, God.
That blue thunder bomb, like he just picked him up and spun him around like it was, like he weighed nothing. Sami Zayn is so strong.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're talking about a man who weighs, like 260 pounds.
Yeah, Roman does, and, like, he's got, like, a weight advantage by, like, 50 pounds on Sammy.
Yeah.
So, you know. But yeah, so I was like, okay, Roman wins the match. And then, like, that backstage promo was kind of stupid, but also really cute.
It was. It was super cute and stupid.
Yeah, so, like...
No.
Yeah, the I'm Irish, we invented look. I'm like, what the...
I'm Samoan, enough said. What?
Both of those don't make any sense!
You adorable children.
But yeah, no, and so, like, that match against, like...
No, don't like, chew on the cords.
Talking to your cats?
Yes, but go on.
Yeah, but no, the main event match, and it's like, this is a huge freaking deal for Finn, because it's like, It's his first night on Raw. He's like the 5th pick overall for the roster, 3rd pick for Raw, in the first round. And it's his birthday too. Like yesterday was Finn's 35th birthday. And like he's been working 16 years to get here. That's 14 years in the Indies / New Japan. Well, he was only in New Japan for like 8, but still, like, he's been working this long and this hard to get to this point. And on his first night, on his birthday, he main events Raw and wins the #1 contendership to the new title. Like, okay, everybody knows Finn's my guy. Finn's my guy through and through. I honestly did not expect him to go that route. Like, I was just like, oh, he's gonna get the honorable loss on his first night, make a big impression, whatever. Roman goes to SummerSlam, continues feuding with Seth for eternity. But then it's like, no, he won, and Roman's like, I want to face you again. I respect you, and I'm just like, everything is beautiful.
So beautiful. That match with Roman.
Yeah, it was a pretty great match. Not the best match of the night, but we're gonna get to that.
Oh yeah, no, that we're gonna get to that. We should save that for last talking.
Well, at least last for Raw.
Last for Raw. But God, no, I love how excited I was for you for Finn.
Yeah, because, okay, if you guys don't know me, Finn was pretty much from the start I first saw him. Like, so when I started watching wrestling in March of 2015, I just started with, like, Raw and Smackdown, whatever. So I didn't really have that much exposure to NXT except through, like, you know who's, like, the NXT champions on the main roster, and that's about it. But so about a couple months later, like after Sammy fights John Cena for the U.S. title, and then Kevin shows up, and then so they're at that point they were really promoting NXT TakeOver Unstoppable really hard, and so I was like, okay, I'll finally watch this NXT stuff people have been talking about. And I'd seen, like, Bayley on like, Tumblr, because she's really adorable. And that first match was for the #1 contendership to the NXT title. And out comes Finn, dressed like a dragon. And, like, it was right then. It was, like, instantaneous. Like, I've never really had that reaction to a wrestler, like, the way that I did with Finn. Like, I knew right from that outset that he, like, you just might be my new favorite. And, like, he's creative. He wears his heart on his sleeves. He puts everything out there every night, and he's just a nice guy. Like I'm not just saying this because I met him. Like, I met him in a parking lot in a rec center in Gainesville, Florida, last September, and he was just a complete sweetheart then. But it's just like, also just online, he's just so supportive. Like, when he's not being a freaking troll, he's just really supportive of the people who support him. Like, I see him favoriting fan art. I see him favoriting, like, people wearing his stuff. He retweeted my dress. He liked all the photos I had taken of it. Like, he's genuine, and like he's also just great in the ring. Like, he's always exciting for me to watch, even when I don't always At all of the takeovers I have watched with him on it, he's never had my match of the night, but that's not his fault. Because usually most of the time it's like Sasha, Bayley, Asuka, Zayn, Nakamura, Asuka. I think it's a bit of a thing for him, and like this was brought up last night, is that he's always got to follow the women, and it's like, but he's always exciting. I love watching him in the ring. He's super exciting for me. I love what the Demon kind of stands for, just being like this weaponized anger. Like, it's all the dark parts of yourself, and you use it, you focus it, and you use it to your advantage. Not necessarily in a destructive way. It's kind of like what Kelly Sue DeConnick says, that spite is a great and legit motivator. So that's how I kind of view that. Plus, he's real pretty.
He is very pretty.
Oh my god.
He has the best butt.
Best butt, best abs, best best everything.
To paraphrase Carl Anderson on his abs, fuck you.
Yeah, no, it's just like when I was watching that Smack 'em Up documentary, and he's like, that guy just had the best abs I've ever seen. I'm like, yeah, that's a really straight thing to admit about your friend.
Fuck you.
But yeah, no, just that moment after the match, and I was like, I was kind of expecting like a Reigns heel turn right then, and like,
oh, me too. I think I texted you that. It's like, oh, here comes Reigns. He's gonna heel turn and be a bastard.
And then I'm like, you know what? I still expect that at some point. Like,
oh, especially with how aggressive he's been.
Yeah, but like, and you know, in this current arc of everyone's just like, oh, you let us down. You're a loser.
Boo.
You know, fuck you.
Yeah.
But just him just being like, he put Finn over in that moment. And it was just like, if I hope he beats Seth, because I want to face him again. I respect him. I was just like, that gives me faith about how, not only how the company views Finn as a Finn's potential on the main roster, but also, and I think this is ultimately going to be good for Roman not to be right up front for a little bit.
Yeah, that's, Roman delivered some very good work last night. I always love Roman when he's against smaller opponents and more high-flying opponents, because it actually shows more versatility in Roman.
Yeah, no, like him and Sammy going at it last night, like, I kind of hope that's Roman's, like, SummerSlam feud, is him and Sami Zayn.
Because that was some beautiful stuff from between the two. I'm like, ooh, yes, that. Focus on that.
Yeah, like, you know, like, I especially loved watching when Roman went over the ropes, because you could see that Sammy ended up getting most of the weight. But, yeah, no, like, I would love to see more of that, because I feel like it's a good, like, it shows Roman's versatility. It just shows that he can go. He's not just supposed to be, like, the big guy. It's like, no, he's very graceful, too. Yeah. Like, his dives are always awesome. Like, but, you know, we'll see, like, in the next few weeks. Like, I'm hoping that next week we'll get more SummerSlam set up, and I'm not just saying that because I'm going to Raw next week. But also I am going to Raw next week, and I will probably play Pokemon Go while Brock Lesnar is talking.
Yes. Let us not talk about Brock Lesnar's voice. But no, I'm very proud of Roman, and I agree with you. I think it'd be good to have him not be on the forefront for a while, and just have some good mid-card matches, because he's just gotten so much heat that he does not deserve.
Yeah, and like the suspension thing, like, I mean, if it was Adderall without a script, like a prescription, like, and he owned up to it. He's like, I deserve this. I'm sorry. So he wasn't like Adam Rose, who was just like, I'm going to fight this, and then everything went wrong. it was just... I'm not saying... this is not me vilifying him. It's me saying that if he did violate the policy like that, it was definitely a deserved suspension.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I don't think that he can bounce back from this. And I believe, yes, he absolutely can. It just... he needs to be on the back burner for a while.
Yeah. If he was becoming... let's just say if it was Adderall, that just shows you that he was starting to run ragged. And coming as someone that was a former Adderall addict, it's like you can bounce back from these things. And I hate that people just kind of don't give people like a second chance. They just automatically... it's not vilification to say it was justified, but it is vilification to say he can't bounce back from it. And I am also a Roman fan. I blocked someone last night. I'm very proud of myself. I didn't just fight them. I've once have quoted said I'll fight Dean Ambrose for Roman Reigns.
Dean's ready to fight at any given time, so
yeah.
You were all short.
Yeah, I die, but it's I think it would be really good for Roman to just like be on the back burner, maybe have a nice feud with Sami Zayn. That gives me watching two of my favorites.
Yeah, and I think also this also goes a long way to like getting Seth, Roman, and Dean kind of on a separate field.
Yes,
They're still kind of that, like up until this most recent point, they were all still kind of being in each other's shadows as the Shield, or in the shadow of the Shield rather. So putting Seth against this fresh new face from NXT, who to a lot of people he is very familiar, but to some he's not going to be. I think that's a good call to kind of just really shake up things around Raw.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like you give Roman something else to do that isn't fighting Seth, and then you have Dean on a completely different roster. So you're going to give them all a chance to kind of just shine on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a Dean fan, I always find that Dean got sidelined kind of the most out of the three, and to have him on his own roster. And we'll get to this when we get to the Smackdown portion of what we're going to talk about. But him being on his own and letting Roman and Seth kind of be on their own on a completely different roster is going to really help Dean shine more. I think the Shield boys deserve everything. They're hard workers. And I really want to see them grow on their own because, yeah, they kind of have been their own stables, but they really haven't. You're right, they haven't grown outside the Shield. And I think Battleground, their fight, which was amazing, and you can definitely see that they've all have improved since the last time I think they did a triple threat was when Roman was Leaki.
Oh, yeah, that's been a long-ass time.
A long time. It's going to be good for them. And let's talk about the main event. Let's talk about the actual main event.
Yeah, no, sorry, Finn, sorry, Roman. You were not the main event of Raw last night. That honor belongs to Sasha Banks and Charlotte.
Right. What was it, a 20-minute match?
It was a 22-minute match from, I don't know if it was from bell to bell or entrance to entrance, but no, I think it was 22 minutes from bell to bell.
Nice.
I think there was 2 commercial breaks during it, which is a big deal. But so last night, since Sasha made Charlotte tap at Battleground, that automatically qualified her as the #1 contender, as such things are usually supposed to go. My argument is that Sasha's been technically the #1 contender since last August when she made Nikki Bella tap in a non-title match. But, semantics. But, so Sasha finally earned her shot last night to face Charlotte one-on-one, because they have not actually the only other title match Sasha has been involved in was the triple threat at WrestleMania, which she only lost because of Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
But so Sasha earned her title shot last night, and like a lot of people, I kind of was expecting Charlotte to win because it sort of has become like a bit of a unspoken rule on Raw, is that titles rarely ever change hands on Raw. Like, the last title change was back it was like the night after WrestleMania when Zack Ryder lost the Intercontinental title. Before that, it had been December when Roman won the title for the second time. And then before that, I don't even know. So titles usually don't change hands on Raw. And I was like, oh, this might just be, a 10-minute match, whatever. And what we got, if that is not a match of the year candidate at the Slammies, I am going to march right up to WWE headquarters and petition, because, oh my god.
That was a beautiful match.
Oh my god. Everything about that match was physical. It was, I would say it was almost reckless. Like, they were throwing everything into it. Like, and I'm saying this for both Charlotte and Sasha. And, no, the best moment was, well, besides the ending, the best moment was when, at some point Charlotte had grabbed the title and was, like, trying to shove it in Sasha's face, and is like, you'll never get this, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, Sasha kicks her and it flings the title, like, near the apron. And then, like, Dana approaches Sasha, and Sasha grabs the belt, throws it at Dana for her to catch, and then falls over onto the floor. And she's like, she pulled an Eddie Guerrero! Oh my god! Like Jean Steel Viva La Raza, honey!
She did.
Like, oh, that was beautiful. Like, I think, some people on the internet get really weird about, like, Sasha's, like, love of Eddie Guerrero. And, like, I remember somebody getting into an argument about her frog splash in her gear at WrestleMania. It's just like, well, did she ask permission of the Guerrero family, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, stop taking Chavo seriously for, like, 2 seconds. Because not even people on Lucha Underground take Chavo Guerrero seriously. And just, like, nobody was gonna ask Zack Ryder if he got permission from the family of the Ultimate Warrior. No, wait, it was Macho Man Randy Savage. But still, no one's gonna ask if Zack Ryder got permission to reference, like, Macho Man in his entrance at Battleground, which, Rock, Flag, and Eagle. So it's like, so why do we bring this up for, like, Sasha wearing her influences on her sleeve so much? But that's not the point. That is not the point, because Sasha became the WWE Women's Champion last night in a 22-minute title match on Raw.
It was freaking beautiful.
And she snatched Charlotte's edges while she did it too.
I am so proud that the women's, after the slump that's been going on with the women's division in terms of their matches, I'm so happy to see them, SmackDown aside from tonight, being taken seriously and actually, growing from let's just toss models in the ring and see what happens,
right,
to what it is now, which is, it's like main event stealer of the night. That really should have been the last match of the night. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just like that. Hopefully, like, it's one of those cases, especially now that, like, Mick Foley has such a position, that, like, they might actually be like, okay, we need to actually put this as a main event level match. Like, I could see like, I have a friend of mine who's just like, I could see Charlotte and Sasha main eventing Raw in, like, the next 2 to 5 years. And I'm like, I don't even think, at this point, like, especially after last night, I think that might be more, like, I could see that happening within the next year.
Yeah.
Of the women main eventing Raw. Or getting the dark match of the night. So it's like, people are wanting to see these matches. They are wanting to cheer for the women. They, like, I think I saw a tweet last night that said, like, you know, the women's matches used to be called the bathroom break match. Better hold it.
Yeah, and I agree.
So everything about that match was emotional and stressful, and it's
such good storytelling from the both of them.
Yeah,
you had that almost indomitable giant that is Charlotte, and who's basically been cheating her way through it, but at the same time, like, you can see why. She's this talented individual. You know, she's being Ric Flair.
Yeah, that basically, that's her bag, is that, you know, she is a Flair through and through, and that includes all the cheating. But, like, you put Sasha, who is, like, she is the underdog. Like, even when she was a heel, like, just initially people didn't really want to give Sasha a chance. Like, even at NXT, like, there used to be this really racist chant for Sasha, which was, people would chant Sasha's ratchet.
Aww.
But eventually, like, that started fading out at NXT. Like, if you watch some of, like, Sasha's, like, last few matches at NXT, you'd hear, like, a couple of people, like, chant Sasha's ratchet, and then, like, this whole other wave of, like, so much more people going, no, she's not!
Beautiful.
And, like, thankfully, the Sasha's ratchet chant has not carried over to the main roster.
No, in fact, everyone's, like, rooting for her. She's really...
Like, she got you deserve it chants last night. You deserve it and yes chants last night. Like, oh my god. That was huge. And, like, I think twice during the match, they got holy... I think twice during the match, they got holy shit chants.
Yes.
And, like, they got this is awesome chants, they got holy shit chants. It was, like... That is an example of what the women's division needs to be going forward. Like, I'm not saying that I'm expecting, like, 20-minute matches I'm not expecting 20-minute title matches every night, but...
Good matches with good storytelling, with letting the girls do what they do.
Yeah.
Which is... They're really good and they're just as talented as the guys. Let them shine.
Yeah, they can hang. Let them do what they can do. Which is why I was kind of sad Nia Jax just only got a squash match last night, but
yeah,
whatever. What can you do?
Which, I guess this can segue into Smackdown.
Oh God, I want to believe in Smackdown, and, like, I know it's just their first live night, so you can't really, like, judge the rest of what's going to happen over the next, like, year or so. But oh my God, it was rough.
It was rough. And I want to love SmackDown because my favorites got drafted to SmackDown.
They did.
And
yeah, that was... Here's what I'm mostly salty about. It's that after that amazing women's match on Raw the night before, and the best they can manage... Well, okay, Becky and Natalya always deliver. Like, they're great in the ring together. They have great chemistry. But then, like, they just do this whole segment where they introduce the entire women's roster for SmackDown, which is only 6 women. And only 6 women, although granted there's only 7 women on Raw, so I'm just like, I'm feeling kind of like, it's feeling kind of paltry on both sides. Which is why I'm hoping Bayley will get called up, like, soon-ish. Like, I want her to finish out her program with Asuka first, but, like...
We need more women.
We need more women. And so, like, they just sort of, like, have them all come out and do, like...
quick promos that all interrupt each other.
Yeah, and it's like... I was especially disappointed because if you don't know anything about me, my second favorite woman at NXT is Carmella. And, like, she doesn't even get to finish her promo before they interrupt her with Eva Marie. And I'm like, I am not on the Eva Marie hate squad. Like, girl is doing the best she can. And, like, her whole, like, weird intro of just, like, the movie, like, the movie trailer voice, I'm just like, what the frack is happening?
Yeah, it was just, like, a really weird, after ending a good match, like, yeah. Oh, yeah, women's division, we're going forward, being taken seriously, there's that.
Yeah, and, like, somebody was kind of pointing out that when, like, Shane was, like, running Raw, there wasn't really a lot of time for the women. And I'm just like, that doesn't really give me a whole lot of hope going forward. like, prove me wrong, Shane, especially when you're working with Daniel freaking Bryan. Like, I feel like D-Bry would just be like how, it's like, he would not be able to sleep at night unless there was Nikki just standing over his bed, just like, hey, bro-in-law. What you gonna do about that whole, like, women's division thing?
Hey, I know where you live. just texts of, like, I know where you live. Every time there's a disappointing women's thing.
Yeah, it's just like, he would get it both from, like, Nikki and Brie. It's like, that's not the twin magic you want. That's, no.
No.
So, in that case, I could see, like, when Nikki makes her return, like, the current, like, slate I've seen is, like, September. I could totally see her being on SmackDown. Just sort of being, like, the stateswoman there. But, you know, we'll see. But, yeah, no, that was really a letdown after, like, last night. Because, you know, I was so looking forward to Carmella, like, being, like, there. Like,
being on there. We even discussed, what was it? We discussed the fact that because Becky is, like, an unofficial club member, and then Carmella is a part of Enzo and Cass, that they just were a part of the feud that goes on between AJ and Cena.
Yeah.
That's all they have, and that would be beautiful.
And they're just like, okay, let's just wait this out.
Now let's just do weird intros, and that be that.
Thanks, guys. And then, like, everything else was, like, kind of weird, like, there's the whole, like, Heath Slater free agent thing just to introduce Rhino, and it's like, didn't I just saw you on NXT last week. You got your ass kicked with Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I'm like...
That tends to be the rule at NXT, and I'm sure it'll change over to Nakamura when Joe gets called up, if he gets called up. That if you get murdered by Samoa Joe, you're either about to move up to the main roster or you're about to get fired. Because, like, he beat up Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze gets called up. I guess he kind of count Finn in that, but it's mostly like that was a transition to get beat up by Nakamura. Beat Sammy, but Sammy had already been called up at that point. Beat Bull Dempsey, then Bull Dempsey got fired. No, Alex Riley got beat up by Nakamura, yeah, so... But yeah, no, so, Rhino!
Just shows up.
Shows up out of nowhere.
The really weird 6-man... Okay, this is my main complaint about the 6-pack match. And it was like, you are about showcasing new talents, but you have, like, John Cena and AJ Styles and, oh god, and, like, Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
And, oh god, who else was a part of that?
It was Ziggler, Cena, Cruz, Corbin, Styles, and Wyatt, that's right. So you have, like, 4 men. 4 men who are staples. I really would have liked it if they pulled some of the new, like, they had maybe 2 of this, like, more established people. And I'm not trying to crap on Dolph Ziggler for his win that night. Maybe have him be the other, but it really should have been more new people. It's like, you're Smackdown, we're all about showcasing new talent, but our contenders for the belt are all a bunch of dudes you already know of. I don't mind Ziggler winning the number 1 contender spot, because it definitely emphasizes the whole anything can happen kind of thing. But it's like, I feel like I would have felt a little better if it had been like Apollo. Because he kind of got, like, shunted, like, shortly after his debut. And it was just like, I am of the camp that he should have stayed at NXT for at least another 6 months. But that's another, well, what the hell can I do case, because I'm not Triple H. Oh god, Triple H crying over Sasha. But that's not the point.
That's not it's... I would have preferred Apollo Crews or Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
And the fact that that those were the 2, I'm like, well, you have Finn Balor. It's basically like Raw had Finn Balor to go against Seth. It would have been a nice echo if someone new and fresh went up against Dean, because like, Cena's had the title for a while. I'm still not as versed. I'm not sure about Wyatt.
Wyatt's never, I don't know if he's had a singles title yet. Maybe, like, what? I don't know. I don't think he has.
We can look that up sometime.
Yeah, no. I'll actually look that up now. But I'm still talking.
But,
blah, blah.
You know, you had Cena, you had the guy that's been handed almost everything to him. Like, I talked to you about that, like, everyone complains that Roman's had everything handed to him, and then you have someone like, I love AJ Styles, do not get me wrong.
Oh, I know you do.
Yeah, Ash can attest, I love AJ Styles, but he didn't, out of all the, like, TNA sign-overs and stuff, he did not start out in NXT. I know he signed over from Japan, but he did not start out. They started him out, and they gave him, like, a pay-per-view premiere for him, and he's had the title shot, like, twice, all in a span of 7 months.
Yeah, like, people, like, and I know people were complaining about Finn winning on Raw, but it's like, nothing's really been handed to him yet. Like, you could probably make that complaint, like, if Finn had debuted on Battleground, or had, like, beaten Seth that night for the title, then I feel like you can make that argument. But at this point, we really can't say anything, because he's only been on one freaking Raw so far.
Yeah.
And, like, he could still lose to Seth at SummerSlam. Who knows?
I don't want him to.
Me neither, but at this point, I honestly don't know what to expect.
And, again, I'm not saying this as a jab against AJ Styles. He's a phenomenal wrestler. Excuse the pun. I didn't even mean that as a pun. He minus his Pele kicks.
Oh, God. I was so mad when Michael Cole, last night on commentary, called Finn's Pele kick an overhead kick. I'm like, no! That is how you do a Pele kick!
That is a beautiful Pele kick instead of what AJ Styles does. I love you, AJ Styles!
If you're listening to this, which you're probably
not.
But yeah, no, like, AJ's kind of the definition of getting everything handed to you. Like, yes, he hasn't won the title yet, and I'm certain it will come at some point within the next year.
Oh, most certainly.
However, 7 months in, and he's had, like, what? He's main evented 2 pay-per-views. He made his debut in the Royal Rumble.
One of his big feuds right now is with John fucking Cena.
Yeah, no, like that was Kevin Owens' starting feud. You can't see me gesturing here, but just assume that I'm gesturing of, like, doy. Yeah, no, it's like, what?
And fans, it just, to me, just goes to more shows on what fans complain about and then don't see with their other wrestlers. And again, I'm not saying AJ has not worked hard in this industry, does not deserve a lot of this stuff, but he's been, if anyone's, I would say, has been pushed down the throats of somebody, and that's probably why he does get his share of hate. I know that. It's because, yeah, he's not even been in this company for a year, and he's had so much happen to him.
Yeah, like, well, he'll probably just face Cena at SummerSlam, let's be real.
Yeah, let's be real. The way I say this, really, I'm hoping that, like, because he had that saltiness thing of the club breaking up, which is very funny because outside of it, he's sad about it, but he's also, like, really happy for Gallows and Anderson to be on Raw. Like, yeah,
they'll get a chance to shine on their own, especially if they're going to put them against the New Day to start.
Yeah, like, you could tell in his voice at his Comic-Con interviews that, he's really proud of his friends, but I love that AJ Styles, the character, is just super salty, and, you know, he's away from them, and he's like, I can stand on my own.
Can you?
Can you? We'll see. But I feel like they're going towards a feud with John Cena again. I'm like, that's great. I would rather the Inevitables start the feud with Finn. Yeah,
well, I wouldn't be surprised if we'll see that, like, maybe towards, like, a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania. Not SummerSlam. Survivor Series or a WrestleMania kind of thing. But, like I said, Finn, they need to give Finn time to kind of find his left on his
Yeah. Finn needs to... it's going to be a slow burn, I think, into something like that. But yeah, Finn needs to be on his own for a bit. And I think so does the club in terms of having that split happen.
Yeah, so it'll give them all... For everybody involved here, AJ, the club, and Finn, it'll be good for them. They'll get a chance to kind of shine on their own. And... like I said, like, we still have our both show tent poles here, so, like, everybody will be back together for SummerSlam, everyone will be back together for Survivor Series, everyone will be back together for the Rumble, everyone will be back together for WrestleMania. You know, there's time.
There's time. There is time for this. But, yeah, just that was, to me, I think, next, the women's match and the main event were kind of the two that made me go, I'm like, Raw seems to be more about the new talent.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm hoping, like, Smackdown will prove me wrong, and, like, they'll get it to, like I said, this is their first week as a live show. Like,
yeah, they were allowed to...
Yeah, and, like, especially one of the Miz TV with Randy and Miz was just, one, it shows that Miz is really great on the mic and is really good at his job, which is making me hate him.
Yes.
Like, I give the same compliment to Samoa Joe all the time. It's like, he does such a great job at making me hate him.
I always laugh at heels like that, because it's like, I want to hate you.
Like, so good job.
Yes.
But Randy's comment about the pitcher catcher thing, I was just like, I'm with Maurice. How dare you? I was like, who wrote that shit? But then again, why am I surprised? Like, this is when Naomi was teaming up with Tamina, like when Tamina wasn't out with like ligament surgery, they kept writing Paige to make really transphobic remarks. Because you probably haven't seen Tamina, have you?
I have.
Yeah, no, she's tall and she's terrifying and she's beautiful. But this has been a thing, is that they like to make really transphobic remarks about Tamina, and I hate it. So, especially but with especially with Randy's character, as I have described Randall Orton in the past, Randy is an asshole at any given point in his life. It's just a matter of what kind of asshole he is. So even when he's a face, he's still an asshole.
He's an asshole, yo, 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 yo. So,
I'm not excited about the Lesnar-Orton match.
I'm not either. I wasn't a part of that. I didn't watch when they were big, so I'm just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I'm excited for Finn versus Seth. I guess I like Dolph, so, I'm not dissing, and it definitely adhered to the whole thing that they're trying to go for again, which is anything can happen in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
How often have we been calling, oh, this person's gonna win this match because that's just the thing that happens?
Yeah.
Wrestling at its most fun is unpredictable. So, and as far as, love it or hate it, nobody called Dolph Ziggler winning that match. So, mission accomplished. They did something that people didn't expect.
Yeah.
So, and Dolph is a solid worker. I expect if that's going to be the case, that they might have Dean retain. But I don't know. Again, I don't know. What I know is that I don't know. I expect they'll probably have Charlotte and Sasha's rematch at SummerSlam, which, if the rumors are if they're going to push that as a big match, is going to be lit. I would kind of love to see them pull a UFC 200 and kind of keep setting it up that Randy and Brock are going to be the main event, and then 24 hours beforehand, Stephanie makes an announcement and goes, actually, we decided the main event is going to be Sasha and Charlotte. That's pretty much what happened with UFC 200, which was, they were, initially it was going to be it was going to be a completely different match that I don't even remember who was involved, was going to be the main event. And then, one of the guys involved got tagged on a potential anti-doping violation. Hashtag not Brock. That would come later. But so they set up for about 20. Still there?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. It dipped out for a second. Then for 24 hours, the main event was Brock Lesnar versus Mark Hunt. And then 24 hours later, they're actually the main event is Amanda Nunes versus Misha Tate. And so I'm just this is the greatest series of events to ever happen to me in my life.
Get on that, WWE.
Yeah, so I'm that would just be freaking hilarious. It's just if they're not actually gonna punish Brock Lesnar for doping, the way they did with Roman for using Adderall potentially, then they should definitely just demote him in the main to sub main event. It's yeah, you're not the main event anymore. Sasha and Charlotte are.
Yep.
But yeah, so I expect that rematch will be there. Probably Cena and AJ.
Yay.
Hopefully that'll end it.
Please, I want face AJ back. I'm getting used to heel AJ. Heel AJ isn't my favorite AJ, but...
What else? What else am I expecting for... Oh, you know what else I'm really salty about on SmackDown this week?
What?
They fucking delayed American Alpha's debut to next week.
Yeah. I mean, I get that it's a 2-hour show instead of a 3-hour show, so you can't debut everybody, but... Still...
I was really looking forward to seeing Chad and Jason throw some people around.
Yeah, that would have been beautiful. I would have loved that better than the free agent thing.
Yeah, that was ultimately pointless.
Yes. It's like, you could have had a match there.
Yeah, you could have had, an actual match instead of, Heath Slater getting beat up by Rhino.
Yeah, ooh.
But, you can't always get what you want.
Yeah. I'm hopeful for SmackDown. SmackDown, again, has a lot of my favorites. That was another thing I was actually salty about, too, was, Dean got no time to wrestle.
That happens. It happened with Seth the other night.
Yeah.
But, it's...
Dean's a fighting champ, then have him fight someone!
Yeah, and my whole thing... I think, Jess Camacho pointed this out last week, is that SmackDown does not have a bad roster. They just have a longer way to go than Raw.
Yeah.
Especially, because they've, for the past little bit, they've sort of been like a glorified house show. No major plot developments really happen on SmackDown. Occasionally they do. But
it's mostly, kind of the same plot as Raw.
Yeah, a lot of Smack... there was, one time I was, super behind on Raw, both Raw and SmackDown, and I didn't have time to watch both, so I just watched SmackDown because they were just doing Raw recaps in, the middle of the episode. So, I think... And points to them, they barely talked about Raw tonight.
Yeah.
I was fully expecting that they would talk about, Stephanie and Mick are going to have their new title, blah, blah, blah. It's no, they didn't talk about Raw, at all. And, JBL is still obnoxious, but he doesn't pick on David Otunga, the way he picks on Byron. So, okay, I kind of maybe have some faith in this commentary team.
Yeah, let's talk about the commentary teams.
Yes, I was not... Okay, no, for, weeks... No, for ages. I don't think I've ever had a point where I didn't want to murder commentary while watching Raw. SmackDown depends. I love Mauro Ranallo, and I love listening to him, but he had to play off of freaking Jerry Lawler. And so it was just you'd have a nice moment or two, and then there's Lawler.
Making a bad joke.
Ugh, creep.
Yeah, or making a creepy notion about somebody in the women's division.
Ugh.
Creep.
Anyway, but yeah, no, so while Corey Graves is a little disappointing, as a human being,
he's a good commentator.
He's a good commentator, and he's an excellent addition to Raw. Because it's they're actually calling the matches instead of, picking at each other.
Yeah.
Corey does that to, Byron, but he doesn't do it in the way that, the really uncomfortable way that JBL does.
Yeah, JBL would just, pick on Byron, and I'm I don't give a shit. Comment about the match. Whereas,
yeah. And,
so, Corey makes it about the match, and then be because he's the heel commentator.
But he still has, the thing about him being the heel commentator, even then, he still has respect for what the people in the ring are doing. Even if he, here's some couple running jokes about Corey. He loves Eva Marie. He can't stand Mojo and Zach. And he can't stand Enzo and Cass. And for a while there, Becky Lynch was also on that list of people he couldn't stand, but after her match with Sasha at TakeOver Unstoppable, he was always just like, I may not like her, but I respect her.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I think that's definitely how you can do a heel commentator without being a douche.
Yeah, and I love the layer of the fact that he's wrestled a lot of the people as well.
Yeah, no, like, people forget that. He was a wrestler in early NXT until he had to retire due to head injuries. Like, basically the same reason Daniel Bryan had to retire. Which is coming up in a court case, but we'll see how that goes. Not Daniel Bryan and Corey Graves are not the ones suing. It's a bunch of people who are not currently employed by the company.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's like, that's one of those, well, we'll see how it goes moments.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I actually did not want to murder the commentators.
yeah, no, especially even tonight, like, even with JBL, I was like, you guys are actually, like, pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm like, oh, that's why people cheer for JBL, other than,
Like,
nostalgia.
Yeah. But, Lawler's still on the pre-show commentary team and I'm like, oh god, I hope Lita murders you on, like, national television. I did, like, last week at work, like, so I work at, like, a funky retail shop, and we get really busy on weekends. I was having a really crappy Saturday, and at sometime during the day, Lita's band, the Luchagors, came on, and I just sort of screamed in the middle of a dressing room while I was closing the doors, like, power me, Lita!
Power me through this! Power me, Tom Cruise!
Tom Cruise, use your witchcraft on me and put out the fire.
But, yeah, no, that's, I think, all we really have to say is some good things about the Battleground. Raw was excellent. Smackdown needs some work, but we're not going to totally diss Smackdown as of yet.
Yeah.
It just had a very rough opening.
Yeah, like I said, I have faith that, especially if they, like, they can turn it around. I believe in them. I think I like their new theme song better than I like Raw's new theme song.
Same.
Like, this is actually, like, not, like, weird, like, faux metal, like, rap. I don't even know what genre, but it's like, I like it a lot better than Raw's, to be honest, but that's pretty much, like, so far the only thing that I like more than Raw right now. But I am definitely open to them changing my mind.
Yes.
But, I don't even know what the hell's going on with NXT tomorrow. Like,
what's going on with NXT?
They were, like, advertising, like, Asuka for tomorrow night, and, like, I read the spoilers for NXT when they tape, but I'm just like, I don't remember what's supposed to happen. And, like, they'll change shit around all the time. Like, they'll film, like, one thing for 1 week, and then, like, they'll just edit it into another episode, and, like, okay, keep me on my toes, NXT. Keep me on my toes. But, no, Hideo's not returning this week. He's returning next week.
I did get to see him.
Yay! I get to see him, because I'm also going to an NXT show the same week I'm going to Raw, so I will finally get to see Hideo Itami live.
Oh, I don't think that was the one thing. I forgot. I went to an NXT show.
Yes, you did.
And I had to, like, contact Ash because I'm still learning the NXT roster, and I'm like, who's this?
Yeah, I was basically, like, live. It's like, what did they call it? Annotation? I was basically your live annotation.
Yes.
Which is really funny, because it's just like, you're like, who is this person? And I was just like, you were, like, really confused during the Itami match. No, it wasn't, it was Dawkins who went against Andrade that night, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, no, you were like really confused, and I was just like, oh, that's probably Angelo. Because I rarely have ever seen Angelo Dawkins on TV, but he's been to like half of the like not half, but like a good portion of the live shows I've gone to.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing you have to understand about the NXT live shows is that the touring shows you get most of the quote stars, and then some of the people that you don't really see on TV but who need like the enhancement aspect of it. So like you may see like somebody who's been working at the Performance Center or working on the Florida route that hasn't really been on TV yet because they need the touring experience. And then in Florida, you'll get like a couple of your stars and then a lot of people who are still working in the Performance Center. And it's really in the Florida shows where a lot of the people who come through the Performance Center cut their teeth. And I think as many NXT shows as I've been to, like the first NXT show I went to was like, again, that show in Gainesville. A Florida NXT show is not anything like a touring NXT show. Like, the touring NXT shows are definitely treated like a WWE house show.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you'll still get the goofiness, and you'll get, like, all of that, and you'll get most of the people you recognize from TV. But, like, you go to the Florida shows, and you'll get people that you may not, especially if you're not, like, a lot of the Florida people, like, will go to shows every week, and, like, they all know each other, and this is how I met, Izzy and her parents the first time. That when I came to Florida, like when they came to Atlanta, they totally recognized me, and we totally chatted, and they're actually all really nice, including Izzy. Izzy is a great kid. And she was teasing me. Because like when I went to my last NXT show in Atlanta, a bunch of these two little boys in Finn Balor shirts came running up to me, and they're just like your outfit is so cool, and then like. They wanted to take a picture with me, and I could just hear Izzy behind me going, "You're famous now, Ashley." It's like, thanks, kid. But yeah, no, a Florida NXT show is not anything like an NXT touring show. Is the point I was trying to make there. So like, but yeah, no, I was basically your live annotation on this because you didn't know everybody.
Yeah, I'm like, who is this? And I think there were some people in the crowd that didn't know everybody, but it was a small show. It was at, I love that Samoa Joe made fun of the fact that it wasn't even in Cincinnati. It was in Northern Kentucky. It was actually at Northern Kentucky University, U.S. Arena. So we were at a small, NKU's not a small college by any means. It's a pretty big one, but it is... not one of the big, like, NCAA schools type college.
Right.
So it was this, like, small basketball arena. There was only one person in the nosebleed seats. That was one of that was kind of, like, I sat across from this guy, and he was just in the nosebleed seats, and I'm like, you sad man.
Like, somebody please let him move down.
Yes. And like, I got close seats that weren't actually ringside.
Yeah, like, that's the thing about the NXT house shows, too, is, like, you have, like, a bunch of people who have, like, you know, Shinsuke Nakamura is doing all these house shows, and he's, like, headlined the Tokyo Dome. And, like, the NXT shows get booked in really weird places. Like, they get booked in, like, a lot of theaters. Or, like... Okay, so when I went up to Nashville, for one, my friend, the friend I was staying with, I told her, oh yeah, it's at War Memorial Auditorium. She's like, oh yeah, that's basically like the city's school gym, in that everyone's had like some weird event there. Like, it's a place that gets rented out a lot. And, for like private events and such. When they went to Oklahoma, like, they were sharing, like, space. There was a prom in the same building that night. I've seen them at the Cabarrus Arena in North Carolina, in Concord, North Carolina, which was described to me as, oh, that's where most high schools in the Charlotte Concord area have their graduations. I think it's also a lot of like state fairs happen there too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was the first time I'd ever seen Shinsuke Nakamura live. Is at a place that they have livestock shows.
Just these weird places. I had to go on a college campus.
Yeah.
Just to go see them, and it was fun. Which reminds me, I think it's about time for the Raw tickets. Yeah. I think have gone on sale.
Yeah. So we're going to Raw together.
Yeah, I got off Raw. We're going to Raw.
Yeah. So I was tempted to go to the Raw at the Barclays Center, since I'm going to be going in Brooklyn during SummerSlam weekend, but I'm only going to NXT TakeOver, which is fine by me. Mostly, this was before I knew Finn was going to be at SummerSlam.
Poor you.
I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm still going to FlameCon, so everything's going to be just fine. And I'm still going to NXT TakeOver too, so that's also fine. But yeah, no. So yeah, we're going to Raw together, and it's going to be at the end of September.
Yeah, the end of September. I'm excited. We're probably going to hear a lot of Ambrose chants because here it's not CM Punk, it's Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, no, so it's just like, so you're having Raw in Cincinnati, but you're not, okay, we'll see what happens.
If Smackdown gets advertised here, I am asking for Smackdown off. I don't care if it's in December. I'm going to see Dean live.
Yeah, I don't know what the rotation of the schedule can be a little weird sometimes.
I do know that Raw's coming back to Columbus in December, and I'm not doing that. I'm like, no.
Yeah, let's see. SmackDown was in Atlanta in February? It was March. I don't remember if it was February or March at this point. I just know that was the same day we had the general primaries. So, no, that was like it was on our Super Tuesday. I just can't remember when our Super Tuesday was. So, it was in town before WrestleMania. SmackDown was. So, we may not get it again until, like, next year. Early next year. Because I think it tends to be that we get SmackDown in early winter, and then we get Raw in the summer, which is not a bad breakdown, because this was like, because I'm going to Raw next week, and then last time we had Raw was like on July 13th of like 2015. So I just don't know if we're getting I don't think we're getting a pay-per-view this year, like, unless, well, SmackDown's got to fill like the schedule, so who knows? I don't know anything. We're still going to Raw together. It's going to be awesome.
I'm like trying to purchase tickets for it, and it still has me for the Washington, D.C. area. No matter what I do for Ticketmaster, it's like, you live in the Maryland area. And I'm like, no, I no longer live in the Mid-Atlantic. I live in Cincinnati.
I haven't lived in the Mid-Atlantic in years.
I know.
Just doing this live on the podcast.
Yeah, doing this live, purchasing Raw tickets.
Anyway. Yeah, well, to be fair, I have been braiding yarn for this, like, my next Finn headpiece while we've been talking, so it's fine.
It's fine. We're just working. Oh, yeah, our cosplays we're working on. We're cosplaying our favorites.
Yeah, so I'm working on 2 Finn outfits. Well, I'm only working on one right now, but there's plans for a second. If you don't know, I made myself a dress based on Finn's demon, last year for Dragon Con. And I've worn it to every NXT show I've been to since. And it's also weird that I'm probably, unless Finn gets, like, surprise added onto the Birmingham show, which is probably unlikely at this point, but I would laugh if it did happen. I'm not going to be wearing it to the Birmingham show. I'll probably be dressing as Bailey. But for Raw, I'm working on... I finished the skirt today, so I did a skirt based off of Finn's Dallas gear, and I'm working on a headpiece based on the Dallas gear as well to match it. And then for Dragon Con / maybe Takeover, maybe, like, whatever. I haven't decided yet if I'm bringing it up to Cincinnati. I'll still bring the Bailey costume.
Yeah.
But Bailey might be on the roster then, too. Who knows? I don't know. But, I'm working on an outfit based off of Finn's... I'm also going to work on an outfit based off of Finn's gear from Takeover the End, which was his black and white, I don't want to say it was referencing the Bullet Club directly, because I don't know, but, like, it was very reminiscent of the gear, of the look he had during his final New Japan Pro Wrestling match. Like, cause he had, like, the black and white kind of zombie look that night when he lost to Taguchi. So I was like, I feel like that was probably more of a reference to that than anything else, because it was going to be his last, not his last match at NXT. Like, we know what that ended up being, but, like, his last big title match.
Oh my god. Did I ask for the wrong dates off? I hope not. I can talk to you if I have. But for some odd reason, it's the 24th is the Raw date, right?
No, you told me it was the end of the month.
Yeah, what? No, here, let me check your...
Like, oh god. Crisis Live on Air.
Crisis Live on Air, don't worry, I can talk to Lauren and say I asked for the wrong time off.
Yeah, because it's like, I could have sworn it was like, hang on.
I wrote down what you gave me on...
Yeah, because it's like, no, I scheduled my flight for the end of the month.
Yeah, the 26th.
September 26th.
Oh, well, I'm not going to panic too much. I'm just going to say I got the wrong dates down.
What down?
It's not letting me go to the date, so I'm going to have to... Oh, my God. I hate you, computer. I'm just going to search on Ticketmaster.
Everything's fine. Don't worry about us. We're cool. It's a free... Yeah, I'm looking at the Ticketmaster page right now. Do you want me to just send it to you?
Yeah, my computer's acting like a butt.
Yeah, yeah, we are such professionals right now.
Have the post show of us, this might be edited out for the future cast, but watch the post show of us, like, trying to... There we go!
Trying to coordinate tickets, because we're just... Oh, God, we're such losers.
Pre-sale begins now, which means I don't think I'm eligible for it.
No, it's like, that's first round of pre-sales. I used to work in ticketing, so I have a weird amount of knowledge about this kind of stuff.
It begins tonight, so I don't get to purchase tickets tonight. But I will check to make sure that I will check tomorrow. I will ask, because it's Wednesday, not much happens if I ask for the right times. I think I went by your flight.
Yeah, no, because I'm getting in that, I'm getting in that morning, and then I'm flying out on Wednesday. I'm getting in on that Monday morning, is what I was saying. Because I could only afford to book a Frontier flight. Because booking it through Southwest was weirdly expensive because you had to go through Midway. Like, why?
Alright, I might have written the wrong dates down. I'll double check.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's the 26th. The 26th!
I did make sure I have the 26th off, so...
Alright, so we're part of the way there.
I might have written it down wrong, so I will just double check with Lauren on which dates got... Well, let me check the thing that I... Ugh.
Everyone's getting a real insight into our life right now. Who all is listening right now? Is this weird? This is probably weird. I mean, like I said, I've been working on cosplay stuff, but you can't see that. That was an inadvertent John Cena joke. I apologize. So I can't see the Twitch stream right now without having to cause like an audio recursion. So yeah, I hope this has been very entertaining so far. And who's messaging me on Facebook? I will worry about that later. I really don't know what else to talk about right now. We've talked all about Raw and SmackDown. We've talked about NXT a little bit. I've pretty much stated I'm going to be playing Pokemon Go through Brock Lesnar's whatever he's doing to promote the SummerSlam match. Like, Brock Lesnar actually showing up to work. What a concept. I really don't know what else to say right now, Jay. Jay?
You know what? I'll just double check in the morning at work.
Okay.
Or really afternoon.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to sign off for the night, since we are professional podcasters here.
It's like, did you do the thing?
Did I do it wrong?
Jesus Christ.
But I did remember asking the 26th off. I just need to ask for your flight off.
Yeah, yeah, because I would like to make sure I get out of Cincinnati.
Never! You have to stay here with my cats.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Thank you for the tip, Allie!
What just happened?
Allie, aka Matt Ed Perot, just tweeted at me, "Hey, you can get the Twitch app and only see the chat that way." Kiss emoji. Thank you for listening, Allie. We love you.
Yes. Thank you.
And anybody else who's listening right now, thank you for listening, even when we're being like, oh shit, did we do the thing?
Did we do the thing right?
It's like, I might have to rebook this fucking flight.
Yeah, I'm not going to worry too much. They're pretty cool at work. I'm just going to say I think I scheduled my time off wrong. I wanted to double check, and I will see if I can find the little slips.
Okay.
Other than that, I think we should sign off for tonight.
Yep.
I'm Jay.
I'm Ashley.
Alright, we'll see you guys next time.
Whatever that will be.
Yes.